this point, for 7 families, certainly those involved in this particular accident, it is going to be a very bleak crossover with the breaking news hitting us this evening that 7 people have lost their lives in a crash that took place on the N4 toll road in Mpumalanga. But let's get more details now. We're joined by Mmusi Moeti, who is, of course, the spokesperson for public safety in Mpumalanga. Mr. Moeti, good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us. I mean, talk to us about the information that's been gathered and what you know about how extensive this crash was.
Thank you so much, Naledi, and a very good evening to you and the viewers at home on this last day of the year. For all we know is that there was 2 BMW sedans that collided like a head side. It means one of them crashed into the other with its front part, and it crashed into the side of the other BMW. The information that we've gathered is that one of the vehicles seemingly lost control before crashing into another one after losing control, veering off the road, moving into the oncoming traffic. 7 people were killed instantly at the scene, while 1 person was seriously injured. The five were from another vehicle, while the other 2 were occupants in another vehicle. Both drivers were also killed at the scene. So the investigation is ongoing, although the weather was not so good between Vanderfontein and Belfast this afternoon around that time, 2 o'clock. So, but then the police will investigate to find out exactly what happened.
Yeah, and at this point, so we know 7. So essentially, just for clarification, no survivors in this crash. And if you have perhaps information on the ages and what we know about the 7 that have lost their lives?
The 7 that have lost their lives, they include 6 adults and a toddler who is about 2 years old. And then there's 1 survivor who sustained serious injuries. He was taken to the nearby hospital. Both the vehicles were traveling in the opposite directions. The other one was traveling from the direction of the Belfast towards Vanderfontein, while the other one was traveling from the Vanderfontein side towards Belfast.
So is there anything that perhaps should be noted about this particular route that they were traveling on that perhaps is a concern for officials and makes the driving conditions difficult in any way? And of course, I think really at the core of it is, if we know what was at the core of it, right? Would it have been the difficult sort of terrain that they were driving in, or would it have been driver behavior?
Largely, we suspect that it was the driver's behavior. We cannot at this stage rule out the possibility of excessive speeding or recklessness on one of the drivers. But then we'll subject that to full investigation. But then again, that road is fairly clear and drivable, and it was during the day. But then N4 itself is one of the priority routes in the province as well as national. It's one of the 11 priority routes that we have looked at data and how it contributes to the number of crashes that have occurred there over the last 5 years, between 2018 and 2023 during the holiday seasons. By this, we include Easter holidays as well as the festive season. So, but then at the same time, while we are keeping a very close eye on that road and the other 10 routes, it does not mean that the motorists are not supposed to play their part. They are supposed to play their part by being responsible and driving considerately as well, so that they can help us to reduce the number of crashes that occur on that road.
Yeah, you know, here and this is, of course, now I'm going to just derail from that discussion a little bit. Here in Johannesburg, you've got the MMC for the city essentially announcing that at 6 o'clock this evening, no alcohol is to be sold at any liquor outlets. Any such sort of priority areas for public safety in Mpumalanga that you are looking at this sensitive time of celebrations?
Well, we are noting the fact that most people will be going at different places for crossover into the new year. This includes your pubs, places of entertainment like taverns. Others will opt to go to church. As we are now at Mbombela Stadium, there's a crossover event with some gospel artists. But then we expect everybody who will be going to those places, driving to and from them, to pay a particular attention to them being safe, both at these events and on the road as they drive back to wherever they will be going to. But we do not have any specific areas where we say we are going to impose sanctions as heavy as the ones that are currently imposed by Johannesburg in the CBD. But then our law enforcement officers are everywhere. They are in the townships. They are on the road. They are at all these places of entertainment, shopping malls, to monitor them and ensure that those who break the law are accordingly dealt with. Those who will engage themselves in public drinking, they will also be taken to task. Those who will drink and alcohol and later attempt to drive, they will also be taken to the police holding cells so that they can appear in court on Thursday in various magistrate courts. So we are appealing to everybody to be sensible enough to drive carefully, obey the rules, not drink and drive, and respect other road users and members of the public.
Yeah, Moeti, we really do appreciate your time. Thank you so much for speaking to us and giving us that update. Moeti Mmusi is, of course, the spokesperson for the Department of Community Safety, Security and Liaison.